27th of June, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
For his Halak. Oh, that's a sign that Lou is coming in. Welcome
Hello.
back, Lou.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're just chazering over this din that we're seeing over here, that when two different parties have two different interests in the appreciated value of an object, so one of them can just divest the other of the ownership of the object by paying him off money. Doesn't have to give him, doesn't have to split with him the object itself that appreciated.
Right.
So that's what we saw yesterday in the case of the eldest son and the younger son. And now we're going to go to a case called Ubal Chov Lelokeach. Literally, a Baal Chov, he's involved in a loan, or we'll see. And a Lokeach. Lokeach is a purchaser. So I have to see what the case is over here. I'm not familiar with this case. What does Rashi say over here? Baal Chov Lelokeach. This is like 10 lines from the bottom of Rashi. Everybody see where this is? In Rashi, the bottom of the page. Baal Chov Lelokeach.
I see it.
Oh, yes, that's right. Okay.
Okay, so first of all, Rashi is going to have to define for us who these two people are and what's their relationship with in regard to this object that they own a portion of, I guess. Okay, so please take it away, Lou.
Okay, Baal Chov Hatoref Lekochos Bishvil Chov. So Torah is to tear up.
Here the meaning is that he's going to take for himself away from the Lokeach.
Okay.
Talking about a case where the Lokeach, the purchaser, let's say he purchased land from somebody that sold him the land, and the person was the real owner of the land, except for the fact that there was a lien on the land. Because the guy the guy borrowed money, and according to the agreement, the lender has a right to, if he, in default of payment to the loan, he's got a right to follow the property, whoever has the property that this guy owned at the time of the loan, and he could be torf it away. He could reclaim it away from the buyer of the property.
Because of the obligation.
Yeah.
Sheyesh lo, that he has al ha mocher, on the sale. He has an obligation on the sale.
On the seller.
On the seller. Okay, so we've got the Baal Chov, we've got the purchaser, and we've got the seller. We have three people here.
Right.
And the seller is the lova.
Right.
Okay. Ein lo koach b'ma shehashbis. Hashpiach. He doesn't have the strength with which to, what's hashpiach?
Heshpiach, Heshpiach halokeach, that the lokeach was mashbiach, that he caused an appreciation of the property. So in other words, this property at the time of the loan, let's say it was 500,000, and now at the time that of the default of the payment, so now this property is 600,000. So there's 100,000 shevach in this property that the lokeach created.
So the Baal Chov does not have the power over the appreciation.
Right.
He's only got power over the principal, the original. Mislako. What's that word? Mislako.
The Selko basically means that he can remove him, remove remove him, divest him of his interest in this property. He's got an interest in this property, the Baal Chov, right? Because he's got the property has a lien on it, and the one who's holding the lien is the Baal Chov. So how much, what type of a hold does this Baal Chov have over this property? So Rashi says he doesn't have koach over the shevach that the lokeach was mashbiach the property. But and therefore umisalko, and therefore he could divest this Baal Chov of his lien of the property, b'damim, with money.
Well, the lokeach can divest the Baal Chov?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So the lokeach can say to the Baal Chov, I'm going to pay off the loan. I'm selling the property, and I'm going to pay off the loan. Is that correct?
Well, let's read the last phrase that Rashi says, and we're going to get the whole picture here now.
Notain lo demei shebecho ve'ein notain lo karka b'shiur shebecho.
Oh, okay. So there's two things that are happening over here. Okay. Let's just translate the words of Rashi. Let's translate the words of Rashi, and that will lead us to the correct pshat.
Okay, so the lokeach can remove or divest Baal Chov with money and give to him the value shebecho is of the obligation.
No, demei shivcho, the value of the shevach. In regard to the shevach,
of the appreciation,
yeah.
and he can't take for him the land. B'shiur shebecho. For the amount of the improvement.
He doesn't, for the in other words, the sheer shibcho, the sheer of the amount, the proportion of the appreciation of the property. He ein nosin lo karka. The lokeach does not give him a karka. He could divest him. He can misalik him with dumim, with cash. Nosin lo demei shibcho. He can give him for the value of the appreciated value. He doesn't have to give him a karka. He can divest him of his interest in his hold in the appreciated value with dumim. Now, what's the question that everybody's should be asking over here?
What do I care about whether it's the karka or the increase? Basically, the seller is saying, I'm selling the property, you have a lien, I'm gonna pay you. What do I care how he divides up the
Right.
source of the money?
Right. In other words, let's say the loan was for 600,000. Okay. So this is now I'm going to answer the question. If the loan was for 600,000, right?
Right.
So now, well, let's see.
Being on a line or on land? What? I see.
Yeah, this is getting a bit complicated over here. Rashi doesn't tell us the whole story. My question is like this. The question that we need to ask over here is, I think that was what Lou was asking, was that what is the guy owes the one that bought the land. His land was meshubed. His land was on lien to pay off this unpaid debt of the Baal Chov, of the lender. And so however much that, let's say that it was 200,000. Let's say it was a loan for 200,000. Now, would there be any question that he would be able to? It's not clear to me. Let's say like this. Let's say the property was at the time of the loan, the property was 500,000, and the loan was for 500,000. That makes sense because generally, the collateral that is given, the shibud that goes on the karka is equal to the. It doesn't have to be. Actually, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. But let's say it was. Let's say it was 500,000. So now, the Baal Chov should be able to come and say, you gotta. What's the deal over here?
Give me my 500,000.
Yeah.
So what if the land depreciated?
The land went up to 600,000 now.
No, it went down. The land is now worth 400,000.
Gentlemen, have we done the land going up?
Yeah, the Rashi's
No,
explaining where it went
I
up.
have a reason for the example.
Oh, all right.
The land went down to 400,000, but he built something on the land. The original owner built up the land, and the improvement is worth 200,000.
Oh.
So the total
Okay.
value of the land is 600,000.
Uh-huh.
So now the Baal Chov comes to the Lokeach and he says, "Give me 500,000." And the
Right.
Lokeach says, "No, you only have a lien on the land, not on the improvement. Therefore, I only have to give you 400,000."
The loan was for 500 though.
Right. Let's say he loaned him 500,000 and he used the land as collateral, but the land is only worth 400,000. It didn't change value. So what's gonna happen? He's only gonna get 400,000. That's all there is.
Well, here what Rashi is saying that the lokeach for the value that the land appreciated, he doesn't have to give that amount to the Baal Chov in karka. He could divest him of his hold over the land with damim. In other words, Rashi is saying, look, the Baal Chov, he has a hold on the land for 500,000. So one might think to say, look, you got to give him 500,000 of land, because he had a lien on the land of 500,000, and we would not make any distinction between the land itself and the appreciated value that the lokeach caused as a result of his efforts in the land appreciating. So you might have thought to say, what's the difference? The guy has the Baal Chov, he's owed 500,000 from this land. On that, Rashi is explaining. That's what I'm saying right now. I might change my mind in a few minutes if somebody asks me a good question. But what I'm saying right now, I'm suggesting the following explanation. That Rashi is saying that in regard to the actual value of the land, then the Baal Chov, rather the lokeach, the buyer of the land from the borrower, he's got to give him land. He can't push him away from the land. If he demands the land, he's got to give him land. But for the appreciated value of the land that he himself, the lokeach, put into the land, that amount that amount he could push. He could divest the lender of that amount and say, you don't have any right to that part of the land that I appreciated with my efforts. That doesn't belong to you. But he does seem to have an obligation to give him from the appreciated part of the land if the loan was for 500,000. So he's got to give him that remainder of 100,000 in cash. He doesn't have to give him from the land, but it seems that he would have to give him the 400,000 of the land itself. That he wouldn't be able to push him away. The only thing that we see can push him away, he'd divest him, be masalik him, is with the appreciated value of the land, but not the land itself. The land itself, he does have koach. The Baal Chov has koach over the land, but what he does not have koach over is the shebach that the lokeach was mashbiach the land, the appreciated value of the land that the lokeach caused through his efforts. That Rashi says, Masalko Baal Chov b'damim. He could divest the Baal Chov of his hold over that part of the land, the appreciated part, b'damim. Nosin lo demei shivcho, and he can give him that in money. There ain't nosin lo karka. He doesn't give him karka b'shir shivcho, according to the with the portion of the appreciated value of the land.
So I'm having trouble I need to develop an example. Let's say,
Okay,
let's say the land's worth 500,000. The loan is 500,000.
the land was worth 500,000 at the time of the loan.
Yeah, and the loan is for 500,000.
Okay.
Now, the land has not changed value,
Um,
but
yeah.
there's an improvement. The
Improved.
purchaser planted an orchard. So the land now is covered with trees,
Right,
and the value of the orchard is 100,000. So the land with the orchard is worth 600,000.
yeah,
Now, the purchaser, I mean, the Baal Chov comes
Right.
to the purchaser and says, give me my 500,000.
right,
I'll just take the land. And the purchaser says, no way, because the land is with the improvement is worth 600,000. So
right,
I'm going to give you 100,000 in cash, and I'm going to give you 400,000 worth of land.
oh,
Is that what we're talking about?
uh-huh. Yeah, I think let me read the Rashi again. I think it's actually Meduic, like you're saying. Baal Chov lelokeach. Baal Chov atoref lekuchois b'shvil chov sheyesh lo al mocher. Ein lo koach b'ma sheheshbiach lokeach. He doesn't have any koach over the appreciated value that the lokeach put in the land. Well, therefore, umasalko Baal Chov b'damim v'nosein lo demei shivchoi. The Baal Chov is misalik him, meaning the lokeach with damim, v'nosein lo demei shivchoi. He'll give him the value. He'll give him the added value in cash of the trees. Ve'ein nosein lo karka b'shir shivcho. He doesn't have to give him karka back in the value of the corresponding to the appreciated value, the 100,000 appreciation in the value of the property as a result of the trees. Mm-hmm. That's an alternative reading of the Rashi.
What's the first reading?
Well, the first reading was I was saying that in other words, in order to if the loan was for 500 and the loan was for 500 and the land was only worth 400, but he appreciated it to 500 with the trees. So really the Baal Chov, he's owed 500,000, but the land itself is only worth 400. So
Right.
So in that case, his hold on the land is really just restricted to the land itself. He doesn't have any leverage over the trees. That's what Rashi said. Ein lo koach v'ma she'eshbiach lokeach. the Baal Chov doesn't have koach over the shevach that the lokeach increased in the value of that land. And so therefore what? Masalko Baal Chov bedamim. So he, but I think the correct reading is like you're saying. Masalko Baal Chov means he will be masalik him. Who will be masalik him? Who will divest him of his interest in the land and the appreciated value? The Baal Chov will. So in the grammar, it sounds like the Baal Chov is the one who is divesting the lokeach with dumim, and he gives him dumim.
No, the Baal Chov isn't going to give dumming to the Lecheach. Baal Chov is the recipient of the money.
How do you know?
He's the Baal Chov. He's the one that has the debt is owed to him.
But in the example that you gave, we can understand how he would.
Oh, you're saying he's going to give the Lokeach 100,000, and then he's going to take the whole thing, which is worth 600,000. I don't think that works, because he can't take the land. That's the whole point.
Masalko Baal Chov. One second. You have a note over there? The art scroll explains who's giving money to who?
Oh, good question. Let's see.
24. Oh, 23. 23.
Shaykh Hashevach Lelokeach. That Shevach is Shaykh to Lokeach. Ula. Ein Halokeach Yochol Litvoa Mea Baal Chov Chelik Mea Karka Keshevi Hashevach. Ella Yochol Baal Chov Lesalko Mea Karka Kulo Al Yedei Tashlum Demei Shevach Zeh. Yeah. My note says that the one who's masalik with money is the Baal Chov.
Now, it's like I said, Shmuel teaches that this is not so. Rather, the creditor takes the entire field. Creditor is the Baal Chov,
Right.
which was
Right.
mortgaged to his debt, and pays the buyer for the increase.
Right.
See Rashi.
Yeah, that's what I was saying in the Rashi, that Rashi says these words that Rashi says, Masalko Baal Chov. The word Masalko means he is Masalik him. It doesn't tell who does what to who. But the next word, Rashi says, Baal Chov. So that properly should be understood to be identifying who it is who's doing the Masalekim. If you want to combine, like people do here, people's children do. You don't teach them otherwise. Who's the one who's doing the Masalekim over here? The Baal Chov is the one who's doing the Masalekim. He's the one who's divesting the Lokeach, the one that bought the land, of his portion of the land. So why does he need to give him money? Why does the Baal Chov need to give him money for the land? This is now a question. If the listen, if the loan was for 500,000, if the loan was for 500,000 now, so we have to fill in the numbers over here. What, in other words, what's the case? What's the numbers over here that we're talking about it in the case where Rashi's explaining that what's going to happen over here is that the Baal Chov is going to be divesting the buyer of the property his appreciated value, that the buyer appreciated the value of the property. Because Rashi explains that the Ein nosein lo karka b'shir shivcho. He doesn't give him karka for the proportion of the appreciated value. He doesn't. The Baal Chov doesn't give him karka according to the shear of the shevach, according to the proportion of the property that the buyer appreciated that property. But Rashi doesn't mention any numbers over here. We need to fill in the numbers, namely, how much was the loan for, how much is the land worth, and how much is the appreciation that the lokeach made in the land.
Okay, so the footnote gives an example.
Okay.
When a debtor sells land on which his creditor has a lien, and the buyer subsequently improves the land, the creditor's lien is limited to the original land and does not extend to the improvements. Thus, for example, if the land was originally worth 100 zuz, and the buyer improved it, said it's now worth 150 zuz, the creditor can collect no more than 100 zuz from the land.
Okay.
Now, it might be thought that the creditor is entitled to only 2/3 of the improved land, while the buyer keeps 1/3. Shmuel teaches that this is not so. Rather, the creditor takes the entire field, which was mortgaged to his debt, and pays the buyer 50 zuz in cash for his improvement.
So according to that, we're saying that the lien that the Baal Chov, the lender, had on this land was the lien that he had on. What I don't understand, according to that example, is why would we have thought that the lender would be able to get more than he was entitled to get under the loan, just because the land appreciated? How could we think that he's going to get, if the loan was for 100, then obviously he's not going to be able to get 100, and he's not going to be able to take the land that's now worth 150. He was only entitled to 100. Why would we think that he's going to get 150?
No, that's not what he's saying. What he's saying is, we might have thought that you got to divide the land into three parts, and give 2 parts of the land to the Baal Chov and 1 part to the purchaser. And Shmuel says, no, you don't do it that way. You give the entire land to the Baal Chov, and the Baal Chov has to pay 50 zuz to the purchaser in compensation for the fact that he got more than the 100. But I don't get that, because Rashi.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you're saying we never had a Havamina that he was going to get more than 100 zuz worth of this land.
Correct.
The only question is the extra 50 zuz of the land, is that going to just be given in kind, in land, to the buyer of the land who improved the land, or do we say no? The Baal Chov can divest him of his right to that land, of his interest in that land, with money, and so therefore he will take the whole 100% of the land, which is worth 150, But since he's only owed 100, he'll have to pay him 50.
How are you going to separate the land from the orchard?
No,
No, you don't. That's the point. You give him the whole thing.
Because you can't.
no, the Havamina was that will give 2/3 of the land with the orchard to the Baal Chov, because he's entitled to 100 zuz. So fine, you'll get 100 zuz you'll get 100 zuz of the land.
Hmm.
But the buyer of that land, who improved that land, you can't divest him of his interest in this land that he bought, and so therefore the 50 zuz which belongs to him, there's no doubt, he can demand that 50 zuz be given to him as in land. And you can't push him off with money. In other words, the Baal Chov, the lender, he'll get 2/3 of the land. That's 100 zuz. That's what he's entitled to. But he won't be able to get the whole tract of land, because 50 zuz of the appreciated value, that belongs to the buyer. You can't kick him off that 50 zuz worth of land over there. And over here, what Shmuel is saying is, yes, the Baal Chov can divest the buyer of this land who improved this land, and he's gonna have the whole land taken away from him, and the Baal Chov will just pay him 50 zuz for the 50 zuz that he owns in the land, but he won't get the land itself.
So I understand what you just said, and it makes perfect sense, except that I don't see how it works with the Rashi, where Rashi says, "Ein notain lo karka b'shiur shebechov."
Yeah.
So it says he does not give him land. Oh, wait a second. No, you're right. That's exactly what it says.
Shir Shivcho is the 50 zuz.
Right. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. I was reading it wrong. Okay, it makes perfect sense to me.
Okay, very good. 12:32.
Koyach, Rabbi.
Yasher koyach, everyone. With the help of the art scrolls. We got
Amen.
it.
Okay.
We need all the help we can get, Rabbi.
All right, then. Thank you. See you, Mr. Shem, tomorrow
Ezrat
Okay,
Hashem,
Roy.
go to the next case.
without any technical difficulties.
Ezrat Hashem.
Have a great day.
All of you as well. Thank you. Thank you.
Amen.
We'll see you at 4.
See you at 4, Alan.
Okay.
All the
thank
best,
you.
Alan. All the best, Lou.
Thank you.
Okay, Rabbi.